Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Myra. So this is the first time I actually post a video on my YouTube account. So I made this account some time ago, but I don't know, I just wasn't like ready to, throw myself out there. But I think this year's the year. So I made this channel with the intention just to share more about, my career, about my lifestyle, about the times I travel, where I go, what I do, just to share with you all my experiences in general in life. And just to also have that, to have that saved and, to create memories. So a little bit about myself. I am a registered nurse. I received my bachelor's in science of nursing in the University of Texas A&M International University. This university is located in Laredo, Texas, where I'm originally from. So I primarily work in the intensive care unit. I've been working in intensive care for about 3 years. I graduated in 2017, so I'm already close to my 3-year mark as an intensive care nurse. That's basically all I know. That's where I started. I was a new grad and I started in the intensive care unit. So I don't think I would be able to go anywhere else, but you never know what life throws at you. So I'm willing to try new things and screw it. As of last year, October 2019, I started doing travel nursing. For those of y'all who don't know what travel nursing is, so travel nursing is, you're a registered nurse, you have to be a registered nurse. Doesn't matter if you have a BSN or an ADN for the most part. I guess depending on the hospital you want to go to, but for the most part it doesn't really matter. As long as you're a registered nurse. As long as you've taken that NCLEX exam and you passed and you're working, you have at least a year or more of experience, then you can get into this field, which is called travel nursing, right? So what it basically is, you work with a separate company. You don't actually work with the hospital. You work with a separate company who affiliates to different hospitals, and then they basically have that connection and they get you a position in whatever specialty you want to be in or you have experience in, because you have to have experience in that specialty. They connect you to that and they will shoot you some offers, to see how much they're going to pay you, if it's even convenient, and then also depending where you want to go. Remember, there's not just one specific company, there's a lot of companies out there that do this, but you just have to choose the one that's right for you. And I guess depending on where you want to go, what state, what city you want to go, you can even be specific to the T, like, I only want to work with this type of system. I want it to be a level 1, a level 2, 3, 4, whatever level you want it to be. You can be really specific. Obviously, it's going to be a little bit more tedious, but they'll find you a job that suits you. So you should be okay. In my case, I'm actually on my second assignment currently. I'm actually in Austin, Texas right now. This is my second assignment ever. My first assignment was actually in San Antonio, Texas. This was in October. I ended my assignment in November. It lasts 13 weeks, which is like 3 months. And then from there, you just decide, do you want to take a break in between, or do you need to keep working? So you just start your next assignment right away. It just depends on you. That's the good thing about this. It gives you a lot of freedom. Obviously, those 13 weeks, you're working hard every week. So you're guaranteed 36 hours a week, which is basically like 3 days a week. So for 13 weeks. Most of the companies do pay you weekly. So you're going to be getting that weekly check for the 3 days, every Friday for the most part. There is some that do pay you bi-weekly. I haven't had an encounter with one of those, but I am sure there is some that do pay you every 2 weeks. It just depends on the company and which one you want to go for, right? So in my case, I started travel nursing in October, like I said, but I am currently married. I got married last year in 2019 in March. We're almost getting to our 1-year anniversary, which I'm excited about. So I had, my husband and I had to sit down. We talked about, We talked about what I wanted to do on my career. We talked about all those things. It was pretty tough, but I told him, you know what, like I've always wanted to do like a travel assignment. I've never just wanted to stay like in one area. That's the way I am. I've always been like that. I like to travel, I like to explore, I like to adventure out. Obviously, I know I'm married, so it's different now, but my husband is very understanding, which I love. He's very understanding. So we came into an agreement, and we're like, you know what, like, he told me, it's fine, this is something you've wanted even before we were engaged, even before we were married, so I am going to support you in whatever you want to do. But we did compromise. He said, I'm fine with it, go for it. The only thing is, can you please stay in the state of Texas, right? Because, for those of you that don't know, travel nursing is not just in the state where you're from. You can go to any other state. My license from Texas, so Texas is is part of the compact state, which is, very, very nice. But you do have those states that aren't compact. For example, California, Hawaii, or even New York, those bigger cities, bigger states. Those more popular states. My first assignment was in San Antonio, Texas, which is like 2.5 hours away from where I'm from. And then from there, I decided to go a little bit further out to Austin, Texas, which is about 3.5 hours from where I'm from. So it's a little bit out, but it's not crazy. Like, I'm not going to a different state, which is like miles and miles away. But that's the plan for later on, but we'll see what happens. The only downside of it for me is I have to be driving back and forward like every week. So the day I go, I leave the day before I work, and then I come back the day after I work, right? So I come back home, and that was something we agreed on, and I'm fine with it. But you do kind of get like tired after a while, especially now that I'm in Austin. It's a bit further out. There's always traffic. And that's on me, right? I usually leave a little bit late. I leave by like 6, and I get there like at 9. So, I could leave earlier, but I just want to spend the most time I can here and then just drive out, right? And then just work my days and then come back. And it's basically like a routine. So when you apply for these jobs, you have your recruiter. Just really be careful and try to get a really good recruiter. Someone who is going to explain everything to you to the T, who is going to give you the most for your money, and who is going to help you get what you want, right? So far, I've had really good experience with my recruiter. She's really good, really fast. If I need anything, she's there, which is good. But usually they'll ask you, like, what are you looking for? Days, nights, whatever you want. And so what I usually always do, especially if I get that call from that manager from that unit that I applied to, I tell them, look, this is the deal. I drive back every week. I need my days to be placed together. So, as a nurse, that's the good thing. You can ask for your days to be put in together, so you can work 3 days straight. Or if you want to do like a block schedule, then you can do 6 days straight and then have like a whole week off, which is nice too. But I've tried it, it's pretty hectic depending on the day you have. If you have a super chill 6 days, anyone can do it. But sometimes you will have that crazy day, or all those days were crazy days. So it can get pretty tiring, because remember, you're doing 12-hour shifts, and it's pretty rough. So I always like to tell the managers, like, please accommodate me, please help me out. And for the most part, I've been fortunate enough that they do. Not everywhere they're going to do that, but for the most part, I think they should be okay, as long as you tell them beforehand. And if they say yes, then they say yes, and then they'll try to help you as much as they can. So far, I've been blessed with like really good managers, and they understand what's going on. So, just explain yourself and just let them know what situation you're in. And for the most part, they'll try to help you out. Travel nursing, it's not like your typical like, oh, I'm gonna go in, like when you're a new grad and you go in and I have my orientation, I have my 2-3 months of orientation, I don't know, depending on the facility you're in. You have your orientation time, and then I'm on my own. No. Here it's very different, and every facility is different. So the first assignment that I went to, it was a 1-day orientation, so a 12-hour orientation. So I was shadowing a nurse, and she basically broke down everything for me, told me where all the supply were. Mind you, I'm used to using Cerner, the system, the computer system, and in this facility they use Meditech. So for those of you who have used Meditech, y'all know that it's very tedious, and that's what I got to learn, right? So I literally had to learn it in like less than a week, and this was on the computer, because you have to do all these like health streams, computer system things before you actually start your job, right? That day, the nurse was like, I know you don't know anything about the system. Let's just get you familiarized. I know you know how to take care of a patient, but let's just, orient you, like, this is a stock room, this is a medication room, this is a break room, and then this is a system, right? So she basically went over all of that with me, she was a really good preceptor, I can say. She helped me out. She explained everything I needed to know, which was great, and I appreciate that. And it wasn't bad. It wasn't really bad. So then the next day was going to be my first day on my own. So it was like orientation, 12-hour shift. Next day, bam, you're on your own. This facility, luckily, you only get 2 patients from the ICU. It's usually like a 2-to-1 ratio, but you will encounter those facilities that will give you a 3-to-1 ratio. So 3 patients to 1 nurse, but it's usually 2 patients to 1 nurse. But you will encounter that sometimes. No, I mean, it wasn't bad. So then for this assignment that I'm in now in Austin, for this one, I only had a 4-hour orientation, and I did have the option to go home, because they're like, okay, you do 4 hours of orientation and then you're not obligated to stay. But they needed help, and I guess they saw that like I understood the system, because it was the same system. They used Meditech as well, so everything was basically the same. Obviously just different people, different doctors, different obviously patients. But I guess they saw that in me, that like, she's fine. I think she should be doing good on her own after those 4 hours. So I mean, I was like, you know what, like, I didn't want to like look like a bitch and be like, oh no, like, I just want to go home. Like, no, I was like, you know what, let's just be a team player and let me just suck it up and just stay. So I stayed and I helped them out, and it went pretty well. Like, I really liked it, and so far I haven't had a bad experience there. I really like it. All my coworkers are really sweet. They're really educated. A lot of my coworkers in the facility I am now in Austin, I mean, I'm working with nurses who have like 30 plus years of experience, which is crazy, because I really haven't encountered that many. I have, don't get me wrong, but not as many as there is in this facility. So, that just tells you a lot. And you kind of feel like a safety net, like, okay, cool, like, she's got my back. Like, I know she knows what she's doing. So, she can help me out if anything goes wrong. I mean, so far it's been great. I mean, I really like it. It has its ups and downs. But as of now, I mean, it's been a pretty good experience, and, I want to continue. I really like it, and when it comes to like housing and stuff, the company does give you like subsidies for that. So they give you like a stipend. Some call it subsidies, some call it stipends, some call it housing stipends. It just depends on the facility, on the actual agency that you work for. And then they give you like meals and per diem and incidentals. It just depends also in the facility or agency you work in. You can reach out to different agencies. Don't always just think, you work with one and that's it. Look for different agencies, look for what they offer, look for what's best for you, and then just go from there. They do have like housing, they do have the meals and incidentals and all that, and per diems, which is good. The times you can ask them, can you help me look for housing? And the company will surely help you look for housing in the location you're in. But sometimes it's not really that convenient, and I'll go over that in a different video if y'all want me to, just to break down how that works and what I recommend. I guess the main thing here is like, if you have that attitude where you get along with people easily, you're not scared of change, you're just like, screw it, like, let's just do it, I'm fine, like, I'm fine with change, then I think you'll do well. But if you're not, if you just don't like to get out of your comfort zone, you know, you're just like, I don't want to meet like a whole new bunch of people, a whole new bunch of doctors, I don't want to learn a new system, then honestly, this is not for you. Not saying that you can't do it in the future. It's just saying like, you know, you have to have your mind set for like change. You know, this is going to be something different in my life, and I just need to adjust to the change, you know. Obviously the first week is like, oh my God, like these new people, I need to learn all these names. I need to learn, you know, what the stock room is. I need to learn where this is and that and this and that and that. I mean, it's normal. I mean, even when you just started as a nurse in any facility and any new job, it's the same thing. But in this case, it's happening like every 13 weeks, every 3 months. And, you know, so it's kind of like, if you like change, go for it. If you don't, I wouldn't recommend it, because it is a lot of change. And, you know, but like I said, like if you like it, I recommend it to everyone, anyone and everyone. Like it's a really good experience. You meet people from different places. You get to see how they work. You learn new tricks and tips. You get to see different procedures that maybe they didn't have at a certain hospital where you're from. You know, you get a lot of help, and you get to learn a lot. That's the good thing about it, you know. So if you're that type of person, I would 100% encourage you to do it. I would 100% recommend it, and just go for it. I mean, you know, if I can do it and I'm married and I'm managing to like be back and forward and hustling, then, you know, you can do it too, especially if you're not married or don't have kids. Then, I mean, I would go for it. I always meet new nurses, and I'm like, they're my age. I'm 25. And they're like single with no kids, and I'm just like, dude, what are you doing here? Like, go out and travel and do all these things, you know. But everyone's different. Everyone has different dreams and desires. So, you know, that's just my advice to anyone who wants to pursue this, or anyone that's thinking of going into nursing. Remember that it's not just your hospital job. It's not. There's a lot of different areas you can go into, but obviously it just depends on what you want to do. And like I said, for travel, it's recommended that you work in a hospital, at least give it a year. Some hospitals are iffy if you have like a year of experience, but nowadays I'm seeing that they will accept you with a year of experience. I guess it just depends also on your specialty, but I'll give it like a 2 years tops. After your 2 years, you know, you can go ahead and do anything else. I mean, 2 years is the mark, and they're just like, okay, you have the 2 years. I think you should be okay. So then I would just do it. Just wanted to share this information with y'all, and if y'all have any other questions, you know, just add to the comments below and I'll answer any questions. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. I'm new here, so, you know, we'll see how this goes. So thank you so much for watching. Bye.